Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Taka amahara ni kamsumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi hana no odono aoni. Misogi harai tamo utoki ni narimaseru. Arai dono o Moro moro no maga goto tsumi kegare o arai tamae kiyome tamae tomao sukoto no yoshio amatsu kami kunitsu kami ya o yorozu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no fuji koma no mimi furi tatete Kikoshi meseto kashikomi maosu. Miroku o mikami, mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Miroku o mikami, mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie miyoya nushi no kami, mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie miyoya nushi no kami, mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kam nagara tamachi hae mase. Kam nagara tamachi hae mase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the time long awaited by all humanity, guiding us to your divine plan. And for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei, may our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified. Believe your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive Group Johrei. May God and Meishu-sama bless you. We now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Through religion, if a religion is lacking in common sense, it cannot be one that will save all humanity. Teachings that give life to other teachings represent a true religion containing the great power of God, our Creator. Helped by God's power, let us break through the hard crust of false beliefs rooted in material things. To have true faith, one must be careful to use common sense in speech or actions. If a group expresses or exhibits extreme psychic, eccentric, or fanatical behavior, be on guard. When someone is inclined to be impressed by such zealous displays, it is due to a lack of spiritual understanding. Genuine faith in God should reinforce the belief that the mission of a spiritual movement is humanity's salvation rather than the adherence to its dogma. It should guide one in service, not only to fellow group members, but to others as well. The ultimate purpose of faith is to help each human being daily become closer to the perfect image and likeness of God. While perfection on earth is perhaps beyond human reach, the desire to make a sincere effort toward its attainment certainly represents the right attitude and is a worth a spiritual aspiration. The deeper the faith, the more natural and unaffected a person is. At this point, an individual can be said to be truly living the teachings. One with true spiritual understanding speaks and acts sensibly, humbly, and sincerely, leaving an uplifting, warm impression with all they meet. The person is gracious and kind, finding true happiness in the happiness of others. These alone can unlock the door to God's blessings. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all very much for these evening services, participating, join us, and pray for our ancestors. Pray for all those who have affinity, and pray for all those who are going through so much still, so many purifications, and with this pandemic. Talking about spiritual affinity with all of us, the teaching that I would like to share with you today is about spiritual cord, about the spiritual affinity we have with each other. And that will take about 4 to 5 minutes of your time. So the teachings today, the name of the teaching is spiritual cord, where Meishu-sama says that many people, they seem to be unfamiliar with the term spiritual cord. While the spiritual cord is invisible, being of exceedingly fine texture, finer than atmosphere. That's the spiritual cord. The role of the spiritual cord and influence in life are so great, it cannot be lightly regarded. The spiritual cord is the conveyor of life-supporting energies, and it influences the fate of human beings and even the world's destiny at large. Therefore, we should come to know its significance more fully. Before going into detail, I wish to point out that the concept of the spiritual cord is scientific as well as religious. In the future, it will be a subject of much study. All interactions concerning people individually and society in general are related to the spiritual cord. So let me explain first the relationship of the individual to other individuals through his or her and their spiritual cords. Suppose, for example, we consider your own. There are innumerable invisible cords connecting you with the people around you, hundreds, thousands of them. Some are wide, some of them are narrow, some are strong, and some are weak cord. Some are bright, and some are dull. Each one exerts a constant influence on you to a certain degree, for various vibratory energies are exchanged through these cords between you and the people with whom you are connected with. In personal relationships, the largest, the biggest, strongest cord is the one between husband and wife. Husband and wife. That's the largest spiritual cord. The next in size comes the cord between parent and child. And then after that, cords between brother and sister. And then cords between relatives, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins. And then those between friends. And last, those between acquaintances. Expressions such as cords of love and to bind the cord of a relationship have no doubt originated from the recognition of this invisible tie. The spiritual cord is changeable. It can be changed. It will change. Sometimes growing larger and stronger, and sometimes becoming smaller and weaker. When all is harmonious between husband and wife, and they are living together happily, the spiritual cord is very large and luminous. If there is discord and a fight and quarreling between them, the cord becomes smaller and smaller, losing luminosity, and it shrinks. The same thing can be said about the spiritual cords connecting parents and children, brothers and sisters, and all other relatives. New cords also, new spiritual cords, they also formed when new friends are gained or new acquaintances are made. And especially strong spiritual cord is formed when two individuals fall in love. And when that love reaches its greatest degree, the cord becomes exceedingly large, strong between the two. And through it, alternating currents of sentiment flow strongly between the two lovers. This creates a subtle and happy sensation, and a kind of a longing or yearning goes back and forth until the spiritual cord is of the utmost strength and size. It is then when lovers become so close, they feel they are indeed one and can no longer be apart. At this point, if relatives, friends, or anyone else tries to separate them from any reason, the attempt only draws them closer together. This is the power of the spiritual cord. Spiritual cords not only connect people with other living individuals, but also with those who have passed on to the spiritual realm, our ancestors. It connects us. In the spiritual world, there are both righteous, good spirits, and corrupt, bad spirits working through the cords. The good spirits encourage virtue while the evil spirits tempt wickedness. They're all connected with us. They are all our ancestors. All human beings are continually influenced by either good or bad spirits. Also, everyone has a guardian spirit. And we all know that. That guardian spirit. This one is one of the ancestors selected to protect and guide its descendant by means of the spiritual cord. So through the spiritual cord, We are connected with our guardian spirit. If an individual is unknowingly approaching danger, his or her guardian spirit will try to give some kind of warning. Will try to let them know through the spiritual cord. Suppose a person plans on taking a certain train, but is prevented from reaching the station in time to catch it, and it is forced to take the next train instead. And later, the person learns that the missed train, the train he missed, met with a bad accident. Such an escape from trouble is caused by the activity of the guardian spirit who has affinity with us, connected with us. If it belongs to a higher plane, it has greater protecting power and can easily foresee any possible disaster threatening the individual in its charge. It can then try to warn him or her of the danger in advance. So with this, we understand this is just a part of the teaching. The teaching is very long, this teaching is very large. But I just want to share with you this part of the teaching so that we can reflect on it and we can live our life knowing that it's all about spiritual cord, spiritual connections. We are all connected with God, with our ancestors, with our loved ones, with our families, our friends. So the more happier, the better we do for humanity, the more we share with our friends, families, and those ancestors connected with us. With this, I'd like to thank you all very much and reminding you that tomorrow we have our morning service. And this month, let's focus our attention on, like I said before, gratitude. This is the month that we should begin to express more and more our appreciation and gratitude to everything. This is a preparation for Meishu-sama's birthday, the founder of our organization that's coming soon. December, it's right there in the corner. I'd like to thank you all very much. And you all have a very good evening. And with this comes to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a blessed evening.